Alright, let's see if it's working now. Okay, resetting it seems to have worked. Knocking on wood. Alright, so let's get the stream chat set up. Probably should have done this before we did anything else. Window capture. Whee! Editing stuff in the middle of the stream. I'm a professional. This is gonna be my first time having the chat thingy on screen during a stream, so this is gonna be a fun time. Please don't say bad language words on stream. That's the big thing I'm worried about. Like, I could have done this a long time ago, but the big reason why I've never done this before was because I don't want people to say bad language words on screen, on the stream and things like that, and it being there forever. This is not cropped in a way that might work for this idea. That'll work for now. Well, we probably could crop that a little bit more. There we go. That looks a little bit fancier. Alright. Yay, we have a stream chat. Ah, that's not on the right layer. Let's move that down a little bit. There we go. Everything is proceeding exactly as foreseen. Yeah, I'm using OBS. Yeah, Streamlabs might have worked a little bit better for that. Alright, so let's get into the game. So we're going to be playing through the beginning of the game. It's going to be super epic and awesome. Let's go to replay level. And starting off at the very beginning of the game. Now, let's see what outfits we can do. Let's go with the goth outfit, because we were talking about that one a little bit earlier. We will be skipping cutscenes during this for the sake of time. We'll be playing for about an hour or so. So even though it says on the schedule we're ending the segment at 1 o'clock, we're actually going to be ending at 1:14, so we can have the sake of playing the game for an hour. But let's get into Tomb Raider Legend.
I've been looking for certain artifacts. Well,
so, Tomb Raider Legend, this is one of my favorite games of all time, and I've replayed through it constantly. The reason why I decided for this to be the first game we'll be playing on the stream is because this is the game that MiniBeenie replayed the most. Her favorite game of all time was The Sims, and I really wanted to include that in Game Changers, but I couldn't find a good way to include it because I don't have the games. So unfortunately, we weren't really able to do anything like that. So normally what you're supposed to be doing is that you climb across all these cliffs and things like that, but my first speedrunning trick that I'm going to be showing you. Now there's one on this, there's a way you can jump on top of this thing, and you're supposed to be able to, like, clip into the cliff. I've never been able to do this though, so we're going to be doing something else instead. This rock right here, this is one of the earliest instances of being able to trigger the airwalking glitch. So Laura basically does an animation where if she lands on the edge of a cliff, she'll do an animation where, let's see if, am I doing this right? She does an animation where, like, one leg dangles off the cliff for a little bit. If you trigger this thing where Laura takes her guns out, if you do that at the exact same time that her leg dangles off the cliff, the game doesn't know if Laura is supposed to be, like, in the... Yep, we did it. Okay, airwalking. This is the airwalking glitch. Basically what happened is that, because this was triggered in an animation that wasn't supposed to, then the game doesn't know whether or not Laura should be moving up and down on the y-axis, and It's a bit of a fun glitch. I made a whole bonus video for this during the Let's Play, and this is honestly one of my favorite glitches in gaming history. It's given me so many things to like see and explore and things like that. You can see a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff too. Now, one thing that I really want to see was if we could find the plane that's at the beginning of the game, at the beginning of the cutscene. It is out here, but it's in those cliffs, and it's really far down, and we can't really go up and down during this glitch. But one fun thing that I can demonstrate is this cube over here. This is not in the regular versions of this game. This is only on the Xbox 360 version, if I remember correctly. Now, cubes like this are hidden outside boundaries because these are basically like triggers for certain events. I believe on this one, it's supposed to be a trigger for particle effects because the Xbox 360 version has more particle effects than the non-Xbox 360 versions. Now, if you do want to go up and down in this glitch, your best option is to find a cliff and kind of like roll into it. It'll take a moment, but it's a pretty fun one. Now let's get back into playing this the way we're supposed to, because there's another speedrunning glitch that's going to be coming up pretty soon as well. Now I've thought about trying to do real speedruns of this game at some point, but like I'm not very good at speedrunning. I don't have the patience for the tricks and things like that, so I don't really have the patience for that. Now, for this up here... Ah, don't fall off the cliff! So basically, for this over here, we go over here this way, and there's a rope right here. We're supposed to go into the waterfall, but if you do it correctly, you can actually go on top of here. It'll be a little bit tricky because you bump into the wall over there. Let's see if we can do it. And we missed. Oh, we still have mine over here. And that's why I'm not a speedrunner. I don't have the patience to try things multiple times. Hey, Tucker says, love glitches like this. Twilight Princess has a similar one with the titles. I love that glitch. The one where, like, you go into a sand pit and you reset the game when... You, like, reset the game while it's, like, sinking, and then it takes you to, like, a glitchy title screen. That glitch is awesome. Skyward Sword has a similar glitch, but it's not quite as interactive, and you can't really break the game as easily as you can with Twilight Princess. Is that glitch in the Wii U version? I'm not sure if it is, because there's not really a reliable way to reset that game compared to the Wii version. Alright then, so we're going to be going over here. We're going to be doing the airwalking glitch again in a moment. But first, there's this guy. Skip cutscene, and let's do a murder! Yay! Now, one of my favorite things in this game is like hearing the conversations with the bad guys, because they have like a lot of really amusing ones. So, Batman Arkham, those games are kind of like that. You can overhear bad guy conversations. Some of them are amusing, but a lot of the times they're not so great. Like, you got one guy who mentions that Joker wanted him to run over his sister, but he didn't have a sister, so he just ran over some random person. And it was like, that's not nice. That is the opposite of nice. Who is texting me while doing streams? Alright. Now, this one could be a little bit tricky because the rock is a bit of a higher evolution than either one. We should, in theory, be able to do it. It has been a little while since I've done this glitch, so it might not be the best at this, and we probably could be saving our time for the... Yeah, we did it! Okay. So let's go over here and swim up the waterfall. Yay! We're Link from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Okay. Time for my daily Tears of the Kingdom rant. So, you know that thing in Breath of the Wild where you can swim up waterfalls and it's like a super awesome secret ability? Yeah, that's required in Tears of the Kingdom. And it's like, great, cool, whatever. You could have made like an interesting new power, but you just made a hidden one from the previous game a requirement now, and I don't know how I feel about that. Alright, so let's go over this way. I'm gonna have to go up the thing. Ha 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 ha! You can't stop the flying waifu! Now, this part right here is really cool to go do the glitch with, because there's supposed to be a cutscene. Okay. Yeah, there's a cutscene up there. Is there another place we can trigger that glitch over here? If you were floating high enough in the air, you'd be able to... okay, that's not what I wanted to do at all. If you're able to float up high enough, you can actually skip the trigger for that cutscene, which is pretty good for people trying to speedrun this game. I got a notification on my cellular device. Okay, cool. Alright. I don't know why does YouTube give you an email when you go live? It's like, YouTube, I know I went live. I pushed the button to go live. That's just like one of my big pet peeves of YouTube nowadays. Alright, so what I was trying to say was that the cutscene over there, if you're floating high enough with this glitch, you'll be able to skip the trigger for the cutscene, which could be pretty good for speedrunning and things like that. I do want to try to get better at speedrunning this game. I don't want to make it like a New Year's resolution or anything like that, because like I'm never going to follow through with it. But it might be fun to try at some point. Where were we a moment ago when we were going up higher and something like that? Okay, we might need to back up track a little bit. There might be another cliff over here. Ah, okay, this one's working a lot better. Tracker says you don't think the glitch is in the HD version. I'm glad you're skipping the cutscenes because I want to try out Tomb Raider. Don't want to get spoiled. Ah, controller! Please don't mess up the glitch. Okay, it's all good. Alright. I don't know what it is, but this controller desyncs every now and then. I gotta reconnect it. I think it might be a problem with the thing that holds the battery. Because, like, if I unplug the battery, then it's all fine and things like that. Okay, so what I was trying to demonstrate a moment ago. So, okay, first of all, this right here is really funny. We can take this boulder, and the boulder, like, attacks the bad guys. I always thought that was really funny. And it's also really impressive for the time, because, like, having physics things and stuff like that was really cool. So we go over this way. Now, I wasn't able to demonstrate this before, but that truck over there is in the cutscene that we skipped a moment ago. If we were able to get here without triggering the cutscene, we can actually see it floating up here. Because video games like this, they hide the assets of cutscenes inside the environment. I mean, a place that you're not supposed to be able to see them and things like that. So that's kind of cool. Also, I just love seeing how we can literally see the seam of the model for the environment over there. That's really amusing. We're not supposed to be able to see that because they cleverly hide the cliffs in a way that make it so that we can do that. Now, I won't do this for the entirety thing. I'll do this for the entire thing, but if we go over here... Actually, we have to go around. As our artist says, interesting, the skybox turns white like that. Yeah, so you'll see this a lot in 3D games where only the top half of the skybox is actually modeled and things, not modeled, textured and things like that, because you're not supposed to be able to see the bottom of the texture anyway. So what's the point of taking up taking up resources to have the things like that? This is a big reason why Super Mario Galaxy was really impressive at the time. Now, if we go over here, that's supposed to be an entrance to a cave and things like that. Now, we're inside the cave, but we're not actually doing anything. So, you can see Laura herself, her lighting has changed a little bit because she's supposed to be inside of a building. But the actual assets of the inside of the building aren't rendering yet. So, we can see, like, the walls and things like that, and that can cause, like, problems and things like that. So, let's get back over this way. Alright, we're back inside the building, and whee! Haha. The people who built this tomb did not account for the fact that waifus can fly! Laura's personality in this game is the best that they've ever done for the Tomb Raider series, and it is such a sin that they went from this to Tomb Raider 2013. Like, okay, Tomb Raider 2013 is a good game. It is a good game. I'm glad that it introduced a lot of Tomb Raider fans. Like, I know Gaming with Pi mentioned that he got into the series after playing Tomb Raider 2013. I'm grateful that it brought new fans into the series. I just don't like what it did for the overall series as a whole, because they just refused to go back into making what Lara Croft. They said 3 games in a row, this was the story of how Lara Croft became the Tomb Raider, and by the end of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, she's still the same character as the first game. That drives me crazy.
And a pity.
So we got these smushing boulders and stuff like that. So a bit of a fun story that I can share about this level. So MiniBeenie and I, we'd play through this game constantly, and one time we wanted to see, okay, we've both played through this game a bunch of times in the past. Which one of us is actually better at it? So what we did was we would we set up 2 TVs and 2 consoles. I was playing on Xbox 360, she was playing on the original Xbox. So we did that. We set up the 2 TVs and we played at the exact same time. And I can't find this picture. I wanted to have it on screen for the stream and things like that. But like, I wasn't able to get that all set up and things like that. So basically, we finished the level at almost the exact same time. We had the ending cutscene was triggering at the same time and things like that. It was so good. Alright, so down here. Owie. How dare you hurt the waifu?
Someone picked an unfortunate place to hunt.
So if you want to get into the Tomb Raider series nowadays, there's not really a bad place to start, in my opinion. The original 3 games are going to be getting remasters on Nintendo Switch pretty soon, which I am really looking forward to. Because, like, I've been wanting remasters of the original game forever, because the most recent version of the game that we got was on the PlayStation Store, and they're not available on PlayStation 4 or anything like that. I think the latest console that you can download them on is on PlayStation Vita. But I'm just really excited about that because I love the original games. I do wish that it was all 3. It's only the original. I do wish that it was all the original 5 games because I actually really like Tomb Raider Chronicles. But it's only the original 3, which is fine because like it's better than nothing. And really, you only need the original 3. Chronicles is kind of a mixed reception. I heard people say Last Revelation is the best one in the series. It is not. I'm sorry, it is not. Last Revelation is boring. Alright. I don't remember exactly where it is, but somewhere along this general vicinity, there should be an area where we can have Laura fly higher. If I can find it, somewhere around here. I really don't want to have to do this puzzle the way you're supposed to, because I want to be fancy. I want to be fancy. Why won't you let me be fancy, game? I want to be fancy. So yeah, the original 3 games are coming out on Switch pretty soon. I'm really looking forward to that because I love that they have the option to play between the original graphics and the remastered, because that's something that I really wish more remakes would do. Like, I'm loving the Super Mario RPG remake. I do wish that there was a way to switch between that and the original graphics so that I can see what this area looks like in the original game. Because there's just a charm to the original graphics and stuff like that. Dark says, I really like it when remakes do that. Yeah. I do hope that they would do that with Zelda as well, because a lot of the remakes don't have a whole lot of graphical updates or anything like that. I think Wind Waker probably is the biggest graphical leap. Well, actually, Ocarina of Time 3DS. Those would look amazing on 3DS and stuff like that, so that'd probably be a better comparison. No, do not fall. lower. Let me do the thing that's super epic and awesome. It's probably going to end up being the entire segment on its own, just trying to do this the way we're not supposed to. Okay, why is it locking over there? Come on, please let us do the thing. Please let us do the thing. I want to be fancy. I want to be fancy. We're going lower. I don't want to go lower. I don't, let me go higher and stuff like that. Dark Artist says my RPG is best remake. Is the best remake of a game I've ever played. It's amazing. Have you played it? Yes. But I love the Super Mario RPG remake. I'd probably say it's like top 3 favorite Mario RPGs of all time. Like I liked the original one fine enough. I never really got far into it though. But yeah, like I just love the remake. Now, if we are able to get up here, the gate isn't opened yet, so normally we're supposed to do like this big complicated thing to get this thing working. I'm gonna see if I can get this to work, because I know there's a way you can go through the stone wall with the rocking glitch. Ah! No! Okay, fine. We'll do it the way you're supposed to. I hope you're happy, game. We're doing it the way we're intended to. I don't want to do it the way we're intended to. Doing it the way we're intended to do is dumb. It's dumb and stupid and dumb. It's actually not that difficult of a puzzle. I just like doing this because it's fun. Alright, so you want to have the crate on the seesaw thingy. Let me go over here and jump. Now, one of my favorite things to try and do when I'm replaying this game, I love to see if I can get these crates to stack. It took a long time to get it. I think the recording session was like 40 minutes long or something like that, but in the Let's Play, we did take the time to try to get them to stack and things like that. And I wanted to see if we can get all 3 to stack. I know it's possible. I think MiniBeenie did it once, but I wanted to see if it was possible to get them all to stack. But in the process of doing that, I think one of them fell over. And I was like, okay, this recording session's been going on for an hour. I want to move on to other things, so let's move on to other things. Now, there's a gold reward in here as well, and we will need to do that. For that to work, you have to have the crates available on the 2 blocks over there. And then have Laura standing on the other switch, and that'll make it so you can do things and stuff. You don't actually need all 3 boxes, you can just do it like this instead. It's a bit hard to see, but you basically want to have the thing lined up on that so that... Hey, what am I doing wrong? I remember what I'm doing wrong. We're supposed to have Laura on the other thing. Okay. Nah, I don't actually care that much. We already got on this playthrough. It's not even going to show up on the stream, so we might as well just move on with our life. So, in terms of future Tomb Raider stuff on the channel, I do want to do more Let's Plays in the future, but I'm not entirely sure which one I want to do next, because like the big focus I want to do would be to do the unfinished business levels in the original Tomb Raider game, because when I was planning out the Let's Play, I was not planning to cover those at all. Like, maybe as an overview thing, but certainly not as a walkthrough. But with the Tomb Raider 1 to 3 remaster coming out, they are releasing the expansion packs in the remake, which I'm really happy about, because the expansions never got an official re-release. I'm just super excited to see that. So that'll probably be our first priority. I think either Tomb Raider 2013 or Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light will probably be the next Let's Play. I'm not entirely sure. But basically the idea is that for the gold reward, you want to have the ledges lined up to these ones, so you can jump onto that, jump on top of the thing, and then do some more stuff. And now for my favorite part, to Mirror Legend. Watching Laura die! Ah, my controller! This may make me sound like a bad person, but the QuickTime event deaths in this game are so funny looking. MiniBeenie and I would just have Laura die constantly during these things. It was funny. They do return an anniversary. They're not quite as funny in that one. And they're not even in Underworld, which makes sense because people didn't really like the QuickTime events in the first place. But it also gives us an excuse to look at the best loading screen in existence. I mean, did you see that loading screen? Lara Croft look hot. I like it when Lara Croft look hot. Alright, we can do it down there. And the QuickTime events in 2-year anniversary, they were pretty fun too. Because, especially in the Wii version, because in that one, you would be able to move the Wii Remote and Nunchuck in a way that felt a bit more immersive and things like that. So if Laura was firing her guns and things like that, you'd shake the controller as if they're recoiling from bullets and things like that. If you had to punch somebody, you'd make a punching motion. It was really cool. Oh, you 100%ed the remake. That's pretty cool. I haven't finished it yet. I'm at the point at the final boss, so like I could finish it later today if I want. But I haven't gotten around to it yet. But the post game also sounds really cool. I'm excited about that. And normally for this next area, there's something down here where you have a bunch of spiky things you had to climb around, but we could just waifu fly instead. Waifu flying is my favorite kind of flying. I press the A button instead of the B button. I'm an idiot. Alright, so we didn't have a donation for this yet, but this is my favorite hallway to do the acrobatic craft thing, so let's go like that. Yeah, we did it! Yay! I don't know why I wasn't working in Craft Banner, but we did it! We did it! Yay! And this is the cutscene where events would transpire. We're not watching any of that. I remember during Tomb Raider Legend Co-Star on the collab channel, James was playing the PC version, and I really wish that we had him play like a console instead, because his PC probably wasn't really all that good for recording the game and talking to me and stuff like that, so it probably wasn't the best idea in the world. Now, something I want to see. I know the airwalking glitch will work here too, so I'm gonna try to do this. It might be difficult to do because there are bad guys firing at us. So let's do this while we only have like one guy to worry about or something like that. Okay, the next meta pack right there. I'm gonna try to see where we could jump to have that work. Maybe on that ledge. Oh, we can also demonstrate this too. So if you jump on the guy, you could do a super awesome slow motion thing like that. It's one of my favorite things in the entire game. That's what Tomb Raider 2013 and that whole trilogy is missing, because it's a lot more combat focused, but the combat gets really repetitive. You don't really get any flashy, epic moments like that. It's just, eh. Like, I'm not really that fond of the combat in the new trilogy anyway. And the fact that they're a lot more combat focused in general, rather than puzzle focused like Tomb Raider was supposed to be. Yeah, that's kind of one of the bigger reasons why I'm not too fond of the new trilogy. I know we can get this to work. Is it gonna work, pretty please? I'm asking nicely. Okay, this might not be a ledge where we can get that to work. Wait, we'll work on this thing. Oh, it might. Okay, we might have something here. We might have something here. Yes! Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah! Waifu walking in the final room is something I've been wanting to do for a while. I wanted to do this for the bonus video, but I didn't really feel like doing it at the time. Ah, this makes me happy. Okay, let's see this area. Let's get a better view of this area, because I want answers. I want to know what this area looks like from a distance. Oh, this is cool. This is super duper cool. This is cool. That, I can't think of another synonym, but it is cool. What does the top area look like? This is like a dream come true. Okay, so what if we go back over here? Can we get back over this area? We might be able to escape. Let's see if we can. Let's see if we can escape this area. We might not be able to, but it's going to be worth trying. Oh, we can go up here. Okay, this makes me super happy. This makes me super duper happy. Okay. All right, we might have something here. Oh, that's why we can't go back. I never thought about that this area caved in after we escaped. That makes me wonder, is this a separately loaded area then from the rest of the level? Because that would make... I don't think that would make sense if it was, but it might be. Keyword, it might be. Dark Artist says, I might be in and out of the stream, so I don't talk in chat for a bit. That's why. Looking forward to playing Among Us in Mario Party later. Yeah, I'm super excited! Okay. So, as I mentioned earlier, we are going to have a special guest at the stream coming to go. A Dark Artist is going to be joining us a little bit later today for Among Us and Mario Party Superstars, as well as a few other special guests, and it's going to be super epic and awesome. It's going to be a good event all around. It's also going to be an interesting time because my record for the longest stream, it was like 5 hours. That was the Luigi's Balloon World stream. But we're streaming for 9 hours, so it's going to be a pretty fun time all around. These don't have collision. Okay. So, we are getting a bit higher. Very gradually, we're getting higher. It's going to take a hot minute. So, while we do that, let's sing a song. Let's sing a song that everybody loves. So, letters of the alphabet, A, B, Z. I was thinking about making that like a stream incentive to have people donate towards songs they'd want to hear me sing, but I decided, you know what, probably not a good idea. I'm not good at singing. Okay, how much higher do I have to go to get out of this area? Water wall over here might be a bit more promising. Now, can you imagine what that one guy over there must be thinking? Like, we just murdered all his buddies, and now we're seeing Laura just floating around, rolling constantly into a wall. Okay. Somewhere around here, there should be another thing we can do. We see the edge of the... Ah, controller, stop disconnecting! Okie dokie. Okie dokie. This looks like an area we should be able to go inside. What's up with this area? Okay. This area looks like a tunnel. I'm curious to see if there's anything inside here. It's not letting us inside. Let us inside. Let us in. Let us in. If I discover like some kind of super epic thing that we weren't supposed to be able to go to, that'd be pretty cool. Wait, was that a different tunnel? Wait, that's the same tunnel from earlier. That thing I was looking at earlier was a different thing entirely. So this is connected to the other parts of the level. That makes sense. But I'm curious about this. What is inside there? What's inside the box? What's inside the box? We'll figure it out eventually. Did anybody in the stream chat watch the Amanda show? One of my favorite segments on that was when she was a superhero called the Procrastinator. And basically people in the city were in trouble, but she was procrastinating, saving them. And so like, help me, my baby is stuck in a tree! A tree! That's no place for a baby! I'll save them eventually! This might be the highest we can go. I'm a little sad about that because I want to do stuff. I want to be able to leave this area and never come back. We might have to call it soon because I would like to showcase some other levels before we end off this segment. Alright. Well, if there is anything more here, I might do a follow-up video. I don't want to promise anything. Laura Shadow! Ah, that is cool. That is really funny. That's kind of haunting in a way. Okay. Let's destroy you. You're a little bit out of my reach. You're a little bit out of my reach. I don't know how effective this is going to actually be. But we're going to destroy it while we're flying. Hey, we did it!
There is more than one.
I know I said this already earlier, but Laura's goth outfit is so hot. Alright. Well, we did it. Now we can move on to better things and move on to another level. How much time do we have left on the segment? It is currently 10:50, so we have like 24 minutes or something like that. So would be a thing. What's a thing we can do until then? We got Bolivia, we got Peru, we got Japan, we got Africa, Kazakhstan, England, Nepal. But now this little right here, it says West Africa in the game. In the strategy guide, I remember just saying Ghana, and I think other parts in game also. Yeah, like right there. It also says Ghana on the screen right there. So I don't know why this part right here says West Africa instead of Ghana like the rest of the game, but it's fine. All right, so I'm gonna give it a moment, see if anybody in the stream chat is able to donate towards deciding Laura's next outfit. If not, that's fine. We'll figure something out. We'll decide something. I think we are gonna play the Ghana level next because this one's also a pretty fun one to showcase during the waifu flying glitch. I don't know, the pace is waiting longer. Let's see what else we want to do. What's a good one? Catsuit! Yeah, so one thing that is kind of like a big hot topic with the Tomb Raider fan base is the fact that in the earlier Tomb Raider games, Laura was always perceived as like a super, like a sexy character and things like that, and they kind of went away with that character trait in the new games. Some people probably liked it, but I think the problem goes a lot more deeper than that because, like, the problem I have with Laura's characterization in the new games is that Laura's supposed to be like a super sassy, independent character in these games, but in the new games, like, you really don't get the sense that she could become a character like that because it's supposed to be advertised as the games that said how Laura became the Tomb Raider and stuff like that. So yeah, when you play those games, it's like, I don't really know how you could have gotten to that point. Alright, well, that's what they say, and that's the developer's mindset and things like that. So yeah, it's not really something I'm super fond of. So, the airwalking glitch in Ghana. I love this one. This is one of my favorite parts to do this with. Because when you're over here, you get this really impressive looking scene where you're just surrounded by beautiful waterfalls. It's just gorgeous. So, this is definitely one of the most iconic moments in the Legend trilogy. And I think this was MiniBeanie's favorite level too. So that was always a real fun time as well. Now, there's a couple of things I'd like to demonstrate. So we go over this way. I believe this is the same skybox as Peru. I might be wrong about that. But we go over this way. We can see the motorcycle in... we can see the motorcycle that was in the opening cutscene. Down there, we can see one of the machine parts from a cutscene that's going to be coming up a little bit later. So this goes back into what I was saying earlier about how you can see assets from the cutscenes stored elsewhere in the game when it needs to be used a little bit later, but the game doesn't really have time to load an entirely new asset into the cutscene in the time that it needs to load and things like that. So over here, we got some couple ropes. We have, I believe that's a Jeep down there from the cutscene too. And we also have James Rutland's character model in a T-pose. Now, I want to see. I want to try this real quick. Can we get up close to that? So I'm going to try to line this up in a good way so we can get a good footage of this. We can get a good shot. And let go. Yep, that was him. And now we've fallen to our doom. I believe that if you let Laura sit there for a while, then Laura will eventually... Like, I don't think Laura will... I think the game will crash before Laura actually dies. So, that's a little bit unfortunate. But now, let's go to Nepal. Now, what's a good effort to wear in a winter environment? We got some winter jackets there, but that's boring. Let's go with the biker. This one's pretty cool. Laura always dresses appropriately for the weather. Man, like, that's like one of my favorite memes of the original game because the original game starts Laura off in a snowy mountain and things like that, and she's wearing shorts. And yeah, it's always a really. Why is it? Right, there we go.
I have done this before, you know.
It makes me think of that one cutscene in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 when it's talking about how everybody is like doing well in the cold and things like that. Like, I love that cutscene. It's like Nia holding on to Pyra because like Pyra is naturally warm from being a light-based blade and things like that. I love that level. I love that area so much. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, man, I love that game. Man, I wish I thought to include that in Game Changers because I want an excuse to play it. There's not really a whole lot of opportunities to do the airwalking glitch in this part of the level, but coming up pretty soon. We will be able to take care of that. It's gonna be epic and awesome.
There it is.
Man, that's a wreck. How old? 8 or 9?
Something like that.
This is a plane crash. Now, this is something that I really appreciate about the Legend Trilogy, because it was a reboot for Tomb Raider, but it didn't pretend that the previous games didn't exist. It was never shown on screen, but it was mentioned before in the continuity of Tomb Raider that Laura did survive a plane crash, and that's one of the big things that led to her survival skills and things like that. So the thing is, in the original games, it never really implied that Laura was a child during the plane crash. So it just said that Laura trekked through the Himalayas and learned survival skills that way. But we never really got an explanation on what happened during the plane crash or anything like that. So this game, even if it does ignore a lot of the continuity from the previous games in the series, it still cared enough to reference the original material and things like that. Now this area over here is a pretty funny glitch you can do where if you go inside the plane before you put any weight on the other end, it'll trigger a death cutscene. Well, we can demonstrate it right now.
Hold up. You walk in there without weighing down this end?
Yeah, that death animation will happen where the plane goes over the cliff. Now, let's see if we can do this. I know there's a way you can get that cutscene to trigger even if Laura is still living. So, let's see if we can get this to work. Now, would you get out of here? Get out of here, you stupid bear! You're not a bear, but that's the first animal that I thought of. Alright, let's see if we can do this very carefully.
I knew it then, and I know it now. I'll be fine, Zin. Don't worry.
And dang it. Basically, what we want to do is try to teeter that way. Dang it, I know it's possible. We can do it. Oh my god, you can see Laura on the edge of the plane. Okay, that's close enough. I can live with that. Even if Laura didn't, because she's dead now. That's unfortunate. Okie dokie. Let's go over here. Take care of you. Take care of you. Ah, wait. Don't hurt the waifu. Hurting the waifu is bad. Hurting the waifu is bad and not socially acceptable behavior. I will say, Zip and Alistair, they didn't bug me when I was younger. They still don't really bug me now. But I will say, I could live without the fact that they repeat the dialogue over and over again. That's one of my big pet peeves in games when you have a character constantly repeating dialogue and things like that. That's like a big reason why, like I love the Mario and Luigi games, but I have a hard time replaying through them after I finished one, because you gotta go through the same cutscenes over and over again if you die and things like that. And Bowser's in the story can have some pretty challenging boss fights, so that's not the most ideal thing in the world. Now, there's not a whole lot to showcase with the airwalking glitch in this level. But we will explore the Himalayas a little bit to showcase its epic awesomeness. Now, it might be a little bit tricky to find a good spot to roll around so we can go in a higher area. That was my fault. I don't think anything triggered a death thing. I don't think anything triggered the plane to go off the cliff, but maybe they have a death trigger where if you go too far forward in the plane, but it didn't. It might be like a failsafe, so or something like there we go. So in terms of the Tomb Raider series, Legend has always been my favorite, but I will say, I think Underworld might be the better game. So, like, Legend is my favorite game in the series for nostalgia reasons and things like that. I've replayed this game so many times. I think the only game out there that I've replayed more than Legend was Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. And that's because that is my favorite game of all time. But Underworld, I think, is the definitive Tomb Raider game. It has a great story, it has amazing music, it has really fun gameplay. It is the most refined game that feels like Tomb Raider. Because, like, the 2013 trilogy is great and all, but they don't feel like Tomb Raider when you're playing them. They feel like most any other action and adventure game out there. And that's one of my big problems with it. That seems to be a running trend when I talk about Tomb Raider 2013. It's like, oh, this game is great, but I have this and this problem. That's one of my biggest problems with it. Yeah, like, that's the big thing that's been making me not want to do a Let's Play of Tomb Raider 2013, because I know I could do it. I know it would be a good Let's Play. But I also feel like if I were to Let's Play it, I'd be complaining about it constantly, because a couple years back I was trying to do a 12 Days of Gaming video on it before it actually happened. My first attempt to do it didn't go so well because I feel like I was complaining way too much about the game, and I'd want to have like a good balance between like talking about my genuine thoughts on the game and not complaining about it constantly. I feel like that'd be the same struggle I'll eventually have when the time comes to Let's Play Tears of the Kingdom. Like, that's not going to happen for a very long time, but I do want to Let's Play every 3D Zelda game out there. So Tears of the Kingdom is likely going to happen at some point, just not anytime soon. Like, if I were to start planning it out right now, it would take years to finish even planning it out, so... Yeah, that's gonna be a fun thing. I think when it comes to projects like that, I'd want to have another similar open world game between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom anyway. Because there's a couple other ones that I have in mind that I think could work in the same format as Breath of the Wild did. And it could take some things I learned from making the Breath of the Wild videos and kind of like test out ideas before diving into a Tears of the Kingdom series. Because here's the thing, Tears of the Kingdom, without spoiling a lot of things, when the time comes, it'll probably be our first 200 episode Let's Play. I'm just gonna say that right now. It is gonna make Breath of the Wild seem puny. At some point, we will get this to work. At some point, someday, my glitch will come. At some point, eventually. Eventually. Okay, we only have like 9 minutes left on the segment, so let's move on to something else. Yeah, anything that I want to demonstrate in Nepal, we already demonstrated during the thing anyway, so... Now before we go into the next level, let's see if there's a donation towards... Let's see if there's a donation towards anything like that. Not quite yet, so that's fine. And let's go with... Let's end off the same way we started. Let's end with a goth outfit. It's weird because in general, goth is really cool. So like, I wasn't super big into the goth aesthetic when I was a kid, but like, especially this past year when I've had some friends, when I've had some goth friends and things like that, it's given me a bit of an appreciation for stuff. And Laura looks super awesome. Okay, I'm gonna waifu gush for a bit. This is Laura's sexiest dress ever. I'm gonna be blunt. Laura looks really awesome.
I believe
She looks so pretty. And something kind of interesting is that you see all these characters and things like that, and it looks kind of impressive for an early Xbox 360 game. Across the different consoles, you have different. It has like. There we go. The button wasn't working for a moment. Across the different consoles, you'll see how many characters are in the lobby. In the PSP version, there are not very many characters in there at all, which makes sense because it is PSP, but it's just really amusing anyway. Alright, let's go here. And down with the Yakuza! Now, something that I wanted to find an answer to, but like I couldn't figure anything out with this, but in the cutscene we were in a moment ago, we were in Nichimura's office, so I really want to know, if you were able to glitch your way into the door, could you walk around it? Because you're not really supposed to be able to go in there anyway, so it doesn't make sense they'd have collision in that room in the first place. But at the same time, you do see Laura standing in there in the cutscene, so it might be possible. I don't know if there's a way to glitch into the door. If there is, that'd be cool. I'd love to learn that someday. But that might not be a thing that happens. So that might be a bit on the unfortunate side. And now, it's time for my favorite moment to do the airwalking glitch in.
He's likely to be on the top floor. This is going to require some creativity.
Nishimura's gonna bill you for that.
Now, normally what we're supposed to do is you take the motorcycle in there, you do a super awesome thing where you go across the bridge and then you climb your way over there. But with the powers of waifu flying, we don't need to do anything like that. We also don't even need to go over there in the first place. We could just fly! Waifu flying, waifu flying, waifu flying is awesome. Now, another thing that I want to know the answer to. So, is the previous environment actually down there? Like, we won't be able to see it even with this glitch because we can't go up and down naturally with this, but I really want to know if that's like a separately loaded area or not. So we go over this way, and we can just really explore Tokyo. We can see how they pulled off the street effect down there. It's a really cool effect. Let's follow the street for a little bit. Then we can go around this area. And, oh no! There's no back to this building! Oh, budget cuts have really been messing with the economy. Oh no! Yeah, it's like a common thing you'll see in game development, where if you see a building or something like that, and you're not really supposed to be able to get to the back of it anyway, they'll save on resources by not having the back of the building in the first place. So we'll be seeing this a lot more as we continue onwards past this area. This in general is one of my favorite skyboxes in the entire game. Like, even today, it still looks really cool. You can see all the detailed buildings and things like that. And it is like a flat image, but wow, this looks awesome. So as we go further back, some of these buildings have backs to them, which is a little bit strange. They probably do that because the ending of the cutscene shows Laura flying in a helicopter. So they probably modeled that, so just in case you saw the back of the buildings anyway. But a good majority of these buildings don't have backs to them. I don't know if they're just sitting there minding its own business. Now, I don't think it's possible to reach the skybox, but it might be, because here's the thing. There's also a similar glitch like this in SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. That is a really fun glitch to do in that game, where in that one, you can have Sandy like float around along the x-axis and not really have a whole lot of limitations, but if you jump at any time, it just keeps going higher and higher and things like that, and it's actually possible to escape the skybox. Like, I've done it before. I didn't want to go any further than that though, because my Switch was my Switch fan was going really loud at that point, so I was like, maybe I don't want to go any further than that. But It's still really cool. I wonder if something like that can also happen in this game too, if you're able to do that. We can see the Tokyo slowly fading into obscurity. In the bonus video, I demonstrated that if you go far enough, you'll actually be able to see the entirety of Tokyo disappear. It's really cool. And that's going to be it for Tokyo. That's another one of MiniBeanie's favorite things to do in this game, where she just loved figuring out a way to get Laura to scream. In the original PlayStation games, if you jumped off a high enough area, she would definitively scream upon reaching a certain height. That was always really fun and amusing and stuff like that. But in this game, it's a bit more rare to trigger Laura's screaming animation and things like that. And yay, I forgot to change Laura's outfit. Alrighty then, let's go back over this way. And one of my favorite things in the Tomb Raider fandom, so Stella's Tomb Raider website is what I use for researching the Tomb Raider Let's Plays. So there's a point when it's talking about the outfits in the game, and it's mentioning that Laura's swimsuits, you can't wear them outside of Croft Manor. And I don't remember exactly how she worded it, but something along the lines of, so unfortunately, Laura can't wear a bikini in Nepal. that was a really amusing thing. Alrighty then, so it looks like we're about out of time for this segment, so unfortunately we have to say bye to Tomb Raider Legend. Bye Tomb Raider Legend, I love you. Hi Jovi, welcome to the stream. Alright, so the next game we're playing is going to be The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. My personal favorite game of all time, and another one that MiniBeenie replayed through a bunch, and it's going to be super epic and awesome. So that's going to be starting up around, what's the schedule? Where's that schedule? Around 1:30 we'll be returning with Link's Awakening, so it's going to be a pretty fun time all around. Thank you guys so much for watching Tomb Raider Legend. And stay tuned for Link's Awakening at 1:30. Bye!